5, 16, 19, 21, 30, 3 and 10. Check results. You remember?
Yo, breaking news on Pod a Day, Dr. Away. Margot Robbie is mid. Sorry, I know, I can hear you all booing and complaining. I know it's hard to find out this way. You know, I was devastated when I found out on Twitter as well, but apparently Margot Robbie is indeed mid. And a lot of the other people you maybe admire in the public eye, you know, I'm gonna pull your head out of the clouds. The news hasn't broken on them yet too, but they are also probably mid because that is, you know, that's the buzzword. That's the thing at the moment is calling any and everyone mid. Although I'm not going to talk about it too much because basically there's tweets going around Margot Robbie like a completely normal photo without makeup where, you know, going like, oh my god, like I'm not going to talk about the fact Margot Robbie's mid. And it's like I kind of feel like these tweets are just bait because people react to these tweets as if they don't understand what Twitter is as a platform. And it's like, I just don't believe that anyone would write that tweet, Margot Robbie's mid, and not know the replies they're going to get, which is that people are going to screenshot what they look like and be like, this guy saying Margot Robbie's mid. People are going to post that photo of like the two guys sitting in a really messy room with the cans in their hands and then put in the like quotes, oh, Margot Robbie's mid, man. People are like, they already know the replies that are going to come to it, but there's going to be replies, and that's what Twitter is. It's just tweeting something out to get things and that. Because obviously, as well, we all know that in any situation, if any of the people who tweeted out Margot Robbie's mid, if Margot Robbie came around and said, hey, let's go to the Malibu Dream House right now, and I don't know, have some fun. Obviously, they'd all say, yeah, it's just bait. It's just fucking bait. Like no one really thinks Margot Robbie's mid. You know, can we move on now? You've been baited by all these Twitter accounts saying that the ex celebrity's mid, Zendaya's mid, beyond this, but everyone's mid. You know, you've been baited. You've been Twitter baited. Learn the app. People just say wild shit because it's like, sure, and I'm sure some people do think she's mid, but that's, you know, it's just, you know, that again, that's just their taste. You can be 400. You know what, as well? Is it right? I don't know. But you're allowed to be 400 pounds with a receding hairline and 4 teeth and call Margot Robbie mid. You're allowed to do that. You can't help if that's how you feel and that's your taste. Okay? You know? Like, you can't help but do that. You know? It's just natural. If, like, it just is. You know, I get it. But at the same time, people don't actually think Margot Robbie's mid. Like, come on now. Let's relax here. You know, that's not a thing that's happening. There was a Swindon player who, when you're in football or most sports probably, sometimes you join for a new club and they'll be like, oh, in this club we do this thing where you got to do an initiation song or something. So you got to sing a song in front of everyone. You know, you got to be like singing Boys to Men or Robbie Williams or something, or Oasis. That's probably the most common songs people are always singing in these things. And I was thinking, I don't know if I was thinking about this earlier, is there was one guy and he gets up on like the bench, he's in the dressing room and he starts singing. And he's good at singing and he's like trying and he's like being good in front of everyone and like he's like doing like vocal inflections and like fucking gymnastics and shit. And it's like, everyone's like, whoa, what up pipes or whatever. And it's like, I have this thing where people singing well, it cringes me out, man. It cringes me out. Obviously, unless it's their profession. But even if it is, if they're singing well in certain environments, it makes me feel so... I hate it. I only want to hear someone singing well on a stage in front of in front of a fucking audience. I don't want to hear you sing well in any other scenario. Like, if you can... I saw a tweet, I think I did speak about this. If you can sing well and you're at karaoke, you should purposefully not sing as well, in my opinion. Like, for the same reason as when anyone else who can't sing does karaoke, they're not trying to sing the best they can. Even if the best they can is a 3 out of 10, they're still not trying. For example, say you're really bad, you're like, so now we've come to the end of the road. You know, you're singing that, you know, till like it's a nature. I belong to you. Like, you're singing that, right? You're singing that. Oh, you know, everyone, lads, everyone's singing. Oh, we're over each other, drinks out to the end. You're singing, right? No one is sitting there trying to be like like trying to like. No one, like, do you get what I'm saying? Even if you can't sing, you're not trying your best do the best you can. You're just singing, having a good time. So if someone gets up and they're like, even if you naturally can, don't try and do your max level. It's just so try hard. You're like, no one wants to hear you singing well. Like, it's just one. Because obviously it's cringe when people say, oh my god, I can kind of sing, you know, and then they go ahead and sing. It's like not that good. It's like kind of flat, but they think it's really good. That's cringe. But also, if you actually are really good, it's like, what do you want me to say right now? Like, if you just start singing in the car and you're like hitting notes or whatever, it's like, okay, but we're in a car, and like you could, no matter how good you're singing, if we're sitting in a car right now, it's kind of just like people on carpool karaoke. And they're singing with James Corden, who's, by the way, also trying to sing the best he can, which is kind of, but like, and then they sing their little part of the song, and they're singing the best that they can. It's like, you just, I don't. And the thing that got me more is, okay, he's singing in the thing, and he's like, like singing in front of everyone, like, okay. It provoked, is it Andre Onana? I can't remember his first name. Onana, that's his name. I have to say it every time. The Everton midfielder, to then post something. I'm not sure if he posted this recently, if it was an old clip someone brought up. I'm assuming he posted this recently of him then singing on social media, which, oh my god, are you fucking kidding me? Now, it wasn't bad either. It's not because these were bad. It's just that he saw everyone talking about this Swindon player being like, oh my god, claps, this guy's got pipes, what the hell? And he took it upon himself to be like, whoa, why is he getting, I can sing too. And then post the Instagram story, no caption, no introduction to anything, just him singing like, like, just like, what? Just like, guys, tell me I can sing, tell me I got the pipes too. It's just like, no one cares. Honest, maybe it's just a me thing. I'm just being like a negative prick. But like, no one cares if you're amazing at singing unless you're a singer, in my opinion. It's like, okay, wow, I guess you can do that. Like, what are you doing, man? It's just one of these things. It's just like, and no one else had this take. No one else made this point. No one else was like, Andre and Anna just trying to do it. Like, no one else said a single thing. It's just me. But it's like, it's just a thing. People it's singing. It's just like, I remember in assembly having to listen to people sing. I would fall into myself. Like, why stop? And it's not because that person would then go on to be bullied about it or harassed it, but no one would ever talk about it. It's just kind of thing that happened. And whether they were like kind of good or like kind of bad, like no one, it was just a thing that happened in the moment. A couple people would chuckle, but for me, it was just like, no, I don't like this. I don't want to be here. I don't like this and I don't want to be here anymore. What's that from? It's from a film or something. But yeah, crazy. Oh, God. I guess we can talk about the Eminem thing. Eminem, I don't know if this was a real quote, because, you know, it's Twitter and yeah, but I'm just going to assume it's real. Basically, Gen Z always going about how obviously Eminem's whole thing is mumble rap, we can't even rap, the rapping's crap. And then Eminem's like, oh, Eminem, you're like old and shit and stop now, and it's just cringe and yeah. Eminem was like, I don't need Gen Z people telling me I can't rap, you know? Gen Z don't know shit about rap. I've been rapping since they were even born. He was like, they're too young to tell me I can't rap. You know, they didn't even exist when rap was really rapping. You know, he was like, and then he said, I don't know if he actually said this, but it sounds like something Eminem would say. They're too young to tell me I can't rap. Stick to what you do best, shooting up schools. And it's just like, Eminem is so cringe, man. He's so fucking cringe. Like, I would hate it if Eminem was, well, I guess money would be decent. Money would be up, but I would hate if Eminem was my dad. It's just like, he's so fucking cringe. He definitely like pulls up to school because like your kid gets a detention, right? And he pulls up to school like just shouting that in the hallways and everyone's looking and he's like shouting at the teachers and stuff and just like, fucking hell, Eminem, shut the fuck up. He's just like cringe, man. Stick to what you do best, shooting up schools. Like, it's funny to look at it through the lens that he's like, hey, everyone, we've got the shooting up, there's a school shooting sort of epidemic or whatever. I don't know if that's the right word going on, but like, there's a huge influx to it, and it's pretty bad, right? And Eminem's take is, hey, don't tell me I can't rap. Spend your time doing better things like school shootings. Do more of those, actually, promoting it. But like, even not looking over that lens, that's not the point he's making. It's like, he's saying Gen Zs are only good for shooting up schools because, you know, that's the thing that happens a lot. School shooters, they're not, you know, they don't know fuck all about rap. And it's like, this is everything that's wrong with you, Eminem, is that you're so close-minded to understand why your music does so much worse than it used to do and why people are saying this. Like, you exist in a space, you exist in art, you make art, music, movies, YouTube videos, anything creative is art, right? And it's all subjective, and you have to understand when you're working in that environment, right? It's a constantly shifting and evolving environment, and it's adapt or perish, you know. It's like, okay, back in the day it was it's awful, and now it's like, okay, but people actually want to hear something else, and it's like people can release a song. I didn't listen to Utopia, but people say about Travis Scott, like sometimes there's songs where there's not even enough lyrics going on, and it's just a lot of instrumental, and it's like, well, yeah, that's his sound. Sometimes people like that, you know. You get songs sometimes, you know, you get songs like Poland by Lil Yachty. You get songs like I don't know what it was called. I didn't really listen to it, but that like fucking Lil Uzi song that was huge like a couple things ago. And it's like you're so like stuck on like a song needs to be like verse chorus bridge chorus, or like, you know, like final thing chorus, like the same thing, and it's gonna be me rapping rap, and I might have a feature sometimes who sings a chorus, but it's just gonna be me rapping and saying like a bunch of really clever things. Like, to me, it's like you can make a fucking quadruple entendre thing, right? And it's like, oh, this is actually smart because this means this, and the syllables under together means this. But it's like this guy's actually got like some words that are actually interesting or like topical or like just sound fucking fire. And it's like, and the song's good and the beat's better and it's more revolutionary. And it's like we got this fucking old guy still in his fucking tracksuit and his fucking, you know. MGK, I hate to say this, but he said it best. You know, his beard is weird. You know, it's just like I don't need to hear anything else from Eminem. Like, respect goats and stuff, but like it's kind of like if, you know, the best manager of like a prior era in football comes forward, and they still kind of do this. People like Samuel, that's not that he was ever a goat, but you know, I can't think of one, but they came forward and said, "Stop this!" And people do this all the time, and it's so fucking great. Like when commentators say it, they walk on, they're like, I don't like this taki tiki nonsense." It's like, you know, it's tiki taka or whatever. Why are you saying taki tiki? But anyway, like, I don't like this tippy tappy taki tika. Knock it, pass it round. Sometimes you just want a long, just kick it long. Direct football, like walking into a room. Imagine walking into Man City's dressing room. What the fuck is this fucking tippy tappy Barcelona? Fucking tappy tippy shit. Fucking happened there. Fucking get. It's like the sport's changed. You can argue for the better or for the worse. In football, I'd say it's for the better. Footballers are not a lot technically better than they were back in the day and stuff. And it's like, you gotta move on, man. It's like, I'm not saying you gotta change music and now start making what it is now. You can still make what you like, but it's like, and you also have an audience for it. But stop screaming out like, why is everyone else not liking it? But because I don't have to, man. That's why, you know? But yeah, that's all. On the flip side of things, from, you know, people producing a product, complaining why consumers don't want to intake it. Now it's kind of what I'm trying to say is that was a topic talking about how there's a person who is making something saying, why do people not like this? This is good, they should like it. And the other thing I wanted to say was about The Bear, which is a broader thing, kind of about Secret Invasion and like other stuff that has came out that hasn't done well or has done well for whatever reason, right? A lot of people, including me, think, not explicitly, but reading between the lines from watching The Bear, which I think is a really good show and I really like it. Sydney, who's the main character in The Bear, black girl, you probably gathered that if you've seen it. I'm giving descriptors in case you've vaguely only seen trailers. And then Kami, the Ketamine Gene Wild, the guy, main chef, you know, should be together. They ship them and stuff, and they see it. And even though they've technically done more explicit things in the show to kind of like suggest maybe the pastry boy kind of guy, Marcus, even though she turns him down and stuff, and they introduce this actual interest into Kami's life, who he fucking doesn't stop gushing over, right? Tell me why, though, it feels more natural that you see, like, Sydney and Kami for a little second, you go, that's there. And I said at the time while watching the show, it feels so right. It feels so right that Carmen should get with Sydney, and this just feels like there's something they should do, and it just feels like it's not explicitly ever been mentioned, but if it ever did come up, it feels like it would just be something that everyone unanimously agreed with in the show, like, oh my god, this is right, and we should do this type of thing. And it would be, you know, good for the viewer, like the viewer would it's something the viewer, so I feel like subconsciously wants to see, or at least I do, and people I've spoken to, it's like something that would actually be satisfying if it did happen, right? More so than this fucking Claire shit, which no one gave a fuck about. But I said at the time, even though I want this to happen, and I feel like it would make sense, I feel like there's kind of been little moments where it feels like it could, right? I feel like the show won't do this because I feel like good television shows and movies these days, I know that the viewpoint would be something like, we wanted to have a main character, a main male and a main female who can have an intimate relationship and be friends and not have to be a relationship. So, you know, and I just know that that's the view they would take. Like, we can have a main character, male and female, who can like be in a relationship, who aren't in a relationship, but a friendship relationship. Like, that can also be a thing. Because I already know, right? Because I just know. That's the higher that's the higher thought thing to say. But it's like, but we want it though. But we like it, and we are the digesters of the show, and we know that you are great at writing a show and you're great at this, what you're doing, because we know you do it really well, and we would all like it. Why don't you do it? Like, and then the actor who plays Sydney was like, it's not going to happen. Basically what I just said, you can have two characters in this and that. It's not going to happen, and we're not really going to do it. Even if she's not the writer, it still could happen. That's what she said. And it's like, sorry, gotta accept that. And it's like, but why are you being so vindictive? Why does it feel like you're enjoying letting us down like this? Unless you're throwing us off the scent, why does it feel like, you know what I mean? Because it's like, we want it. How can you tell us we're wrong? We're the masses. You're making it for us. You're making it also for yourselves. When you're making anything, music or whatever, first and foremost, you are kind of also making it for yourself. You have to make it for yourself. You can't make stuff for anyone else in a way, or else you're not really going to make it that well. You kind of got to write what you know and write for you, and people will connect to that if it's good. But like at the same time, it's just kind of like, and this is slightly different, but how Secret Invasion made something that was dog shit, and they came out and said, you know, we made this. If you don't like it, that's your problem, because we've actually made what is right. It's kind of different, but kind of the same in the sense that the Bear are saying, we're making what is right in the sense that we're making what is a higher elevation show and something a little bit more different and less mainstream and less cliche, by making these two just go together, because that's what stories always do. So we're doing the right thing. If people don't like that and don't like Claire, it's like, well, we've technically done the better thing because we've done the better writing and the more enhanced, evolved writing with the characters. So if you don't like it, you just like bland cliche shit. But like, you can say that, but if no one cares about fucking Claire and everyone prefers this shit, and it's like, have you done that? Like, is it, cliches are cliches for a reason. They fucking work and they're fucking good, that's why we have the fucking 3-act structure and all this other bullshit, and there's other fucking writing techniques that they fucking go on about. It's there for a fucking reason. I've been watching The Bear too much. I've been swearing too much just then. And I'm working up a sweat. It's too hot in here. I've got all the windows shut, and it's actually hot. It's not stopped raining, so that's crazy. This was Pod a Day, Dr. Away, 200 and I don't know what. And I will see you guys in the next one.
Here with the kids. And I've got 3 kids, and the geezer was probably on like maximum 20 bags a year. Like the most boring bloke you'll ever meet. He was like a hero.